chance.
Why are you doing this?
We ended up together because I get crippled in the game tonight.
Stop
But
it.
I'm going to change things. If I don't get hurt in a few years, I'm going to be making money, and I'll finally be able to take care of you.
Stop it. Just stop talking. And please leave me alone.
Macy, stop. We tried your dream, okay, and it didn't work out.
Nearly 2 years after filming here, Touchback hits the big screen tonight.
The family drama, of course, filmed for several weeks in Coopersville and in Grand Rapids during the summer of 2010. Our movie guy Aaron Lafferty was there every step of the way and is now taking a look at the making of Touchback.
And because of that, they've got the #1 secondary in the nation. 8 of their starting 11 defensemen all have full rides to D1 schools. For all intents and purposes, guys, you're playing a college team Friday.
It wasn't just football that brought Hollywood here to West Michigan. It was a small town setting and 2 very important Coopersville landmarks.
We've got a fictional town in the script called Coldwater that, you know, even down to the small details like the giant C on the field, it just spoke to me. And when I saw that downtown, the old clock, I mean, the movie's about a guy who travels back in time and has a chance to do a section of his high school life over again. So the clock just really spoke to me.
To get the football action just right, crews spent weeks planning the plays and worked hard for several nights to make it authentic. The cast is led by former football player Brian Presley.
You know, we're doing 12, 15-hour days, and we've been out in this football practice in real life, 2 to 4 hours. You know, our football practices last 12 hours, so it's pretty draining. You know, it's intense.
We all take in so much sports nowadays. If it's not real, they're going to call you out on it immediately, and we want to make it real. How do we cover the action? How do we make it look real? How do we cover the actors? How do we make it look like a great Friday night in Michigan?
The supporting cast includes veteran actors Christine Lottie, playing Scott's mom, and Kurt Russell as the football coach and father figure in his first independent movie.
They're moving incredibly fast for my normal speed. Usually, the movies that I've worked on, we move a lot slower than this, and that's a lot of fun too.
Filmmakers even got Detroit Lions legend Barry Sanders signed up for his one-line cameo.
Never felt, I would say, comfortable going in front of a camera trying to project something. So it's going to take a lot of coaching.
Red Raiders on 3. 1, 2, 3. Red Raiders rule.
And now with his review of the movie, our movie guy Aaron Lafferty, because you actually had an opportunity to see the sneak preview.
Yes. Yep.
Of course, we're not talking about the real opening night tonight, but it was kind of a screening that you had the opportunity to see earlier this week.
I'm excited about this one, you guys. It's fun. We saw in 30 Minutes or Less, we saw in Caught in the Crossfire, we saw in Gun, we saw in Setup, we saw in all those movies. You see all these landmarks, and you're watching the movie, and you're, there's that. In this one, I think you spend a lot more time just watching the movie because, unless you're really from Coopersville, and if you're from Coopersville, you probably know all the landmarks. But in this movie, you really just dive into what the movie is, and it's this kind of David and Goliath story. It's this, getting a second chance at reliving your high school days and what you would do, and if you would make the same decisions, kind of that whole would you do it all over again question. And that's what kind of comes to Brian Presley, who plays Scott. That's kind of the crux of the whole movie. So it's fun to watch. You probably won't spend as much time looking at different scenes. You'll notice things, but it's a lot more the movie than the sights and sounds, if you will.
So this is a big deal for our area, and they're having a huge rally tonight, right before some of the celebs come into town.
Yep. So at 5:30 tonight, actually 5:30 tonight, at Pal's Diner, which plays an important role in the movie, and they actually keep the name Pal's Diner, so that's kind of cool. There's a rally. They're asking extras to come out. All the people that brought their old cars out to the football games, they're asking all those people to come out. And I actually just found out a couple minutes ago that they're going to bring in a limo. Brian Presley, who's the lead actor, and some other people involved in making the movie, like the producers and some of the extras and things like that, are going to be brought in a limo, and so they'll be there, so to check that out. And then everything shifts over to Celebration North, the red carpet premiere, which is sold out. It's in the Theater 1, which, if you know, is the big 500-seat theater, so that's sold out. There's also another show a few minutes later in that 7 o'clock hour time, so if you can't make the red carpet premiere screening, you can also go see the 7 o'clock show. And there's shows all day today, all weekend, so there's plenty of chances to see it. I really liked it. It was better than I thought it would be. I think it's a movie that Coopersville can be proud of. It's a movie West Michigan can be proud of.
It's opening across the country. I mean,
it's a limited release. So it's in some markets. It's in 4 theaters in West Michigan. It's at North, Rivertown, South, and AMC Star up on Alpine. So it's in 4 theaters in our area, but it's also getting a kind of a slow, limited release across the country. It was in 50 theaters last weekend, and it'll be a few more this weekend. So we'll see how it does.
I'm really excited about tonight. We'll both be there on the red carpet doing interviews, and people can actually still come out, even though you said it is sold out. They can come out to the rally and get involved.
Yeah, you can go to the rally at Pals. You can come out to Celebration North and experience that whole red carpet premiere. You don't have to have tickets to experience the red carpet. The fun thing is Brian Pressel will be signing autographs. If you do have tickets to the premiere, they'll be doing some Q&A and some introductions, before and after the movie. So that'll be fun. That's part of your ticket package there. So that's fun. And then if you're doing interviews, Jordan, some things to remember is Brian Presley played football, so you can ask him about how the difference between shooting a movie football and playing real high school football.
I did my research here, but I'll take any
He was a star, and he's a man of faith, so you can ask him how that involved, because this is a family movie. It's it's rated PG-13. There's some mature issues with losing the farm and all the economic issues that you have, but it's not violent, other than the football scenes. It's not there's not bad language and things like that. So it's more the thematic elements that they say. So
yeah, I've heard some comparisons to sort of A Wonderful Life and just kind of the journey they go on. I have to ask you, because you've in the last 2.5 years become our movie critic here on 8 West. You are an expert because you clearly have this passion for movies. What has this particular experience been like for you? Because you were out there when they were shooting, you interviewed the actors along the way, the producers, the screenwriters. What is this like now to see this come full circle and actually sit in the theater and watch it?
It's a fun experience, especially when a production like this. They were so inviting. They were so welcoming to us. They let us come out there, let us shoot. They got us interviews, so that was fun. Some of the other, I'm not to talk bad about any production, but some of the other ones are a little more standoffish, whether it's because the actors or contracts or whatever. But these people were open-armed, and so
Kurt Russell.
Even Kurt Russell, talked to Barry Sanders and Mark Blucas, and so that was fun. So it's fun to see that all come together and finally make it on the big screen. And I got to tell you, the production values were better than we've seen. So
the quality. I mean, even in
the movie,
even in the
lighting, all the little things that you see. Yes, not all the acting is great, but the main actors are really good, and it's an inspiring movie. It'll make you smile. It's a good date movie. It's not your traditional romantic comedy, but it's a good date movie. So
good, uplifting. Nice to take the kids along too, especially maybe if your kids are involved in sport. Kind of make them think along the way about decision making, the choices that you make, and kind of how your life ends up turning out. There's another movie that's opening this weekend that I'm really excited about. I sit on the Mental Health Foundation board of directors, and we talk a lot about developing programming to help talk to kids about bullying. And I know this movie that's opening this weekend has gotten a lot of attention because it head-on attacks this very important issue.
Right, and this movie kind of had this interesting development. There was a Michigan girl that was pushing to get this movie to get a lower rating, and it now has that PG-13 rating. And originally it was an R just because of the language. And the Motion Picture Association of America has a standard. If there's certain standards, certain numbers of certain words, it becomes an R-rated movie, or certain levels of violence. Obviously, there's a debate in this country now, not just about bullying, and bullying has become a conversation piece for America, but you also have this debate over the rating system too. Right. So because you have a movie like Hunger Games where essentially it's kids fighting to the death, and that's a PG-13 movie. Then you have a documentary about bullying that kids need to see, and that's an R rating. So it's definitely an interesting, this is documentary. It's playing in 2 theaters. It's a limited release this weekend. It's at Celebration North and Alpine. AMC Star Alpine. So there's not a lot of places to see it, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be in theaters for a while, because this is a thing that schools can go to, you can take groups to, you can take your kids to, take the family to. Obviously, in one form or another, people have experienced bullying, whether it's personally or they've witnessed it or they've been a bully themselves and didn't really realize the impact of bullying. So this
you get to see both sides. You get to see both sides of that relationship and the dynamic that occurs, and hopefully there'll be a lot of really important conversations that get underway as a result of this.
I think that's the goal of this movie, is just to get people talking about bullying, both for school administrators and principals and teachers to be aware of it if they're not, or maybe they haven't seen it, or for parents to be aware of it, that their children may be either the bully or the victim.
Yeah, so, great lessons there. And you have another one?
Yeah, we actually have 3 other movies in wide release this weekend, so these are all across the country. Chimpanzee, which is a documentary, and that's rated G. This is one of those Earth Day releases that Disney Nature has been doing over the last couple years. This is kind of I think it was a 3-year project where they went and shot deep in the jungles, and there's a baby chimpanzee that gets separated and gets adopted. So this is a heartfelt family movie, rated G.
A tearjerker, right?
A tearjerker, it's documentary style. So, and Tim Allen voices the narration on that one. The Lucky One, I'm sure you've seen a couple advertisements for this one.
That's probably going to be big at the box office this weekend.
That'll be the other big one at Celebration North tonight. This is rated PG-13. Zac Efron, he's in the Iraq War, and he finds a picture of this girl, and the picture kind of saves his life, so then he goes back to North Carolina to find out who this girl is. You also have Think Like a Man, which is based on a Steve Harvey novel, and it's a bunch of couples that realize that there's a different way to look at relationships, so that'll be an interesting one.
Fantastic. Okay, we can read all about it on your blog, Laff at the Movies, woodtv.com, and of course we're looking for pictures from you guys on Facebook from the big premiere coming up tonight. More of 8 West is straight ahead. Don't go away.